Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to the 2022 local town election results here in Bennington. I have with me
Greg Van Houten.
That's it.
Of
That's Greg
Bennington.
Van Houten.
Thanks,
So,
Mike.
I appreciate you willing to come on here on camera as we cover some time before the results are in. That's what we
My
call
pleasure.
this. But we're happy to have a few people will be on to discuss poll working and being outside all day today, and volunteer firefighting. We have Bill from downtown who has a little bit of talk about that. But
That's
I thought we should cover what people voted for today on the ballot, or what they
Sure.
didn't vote for. They could vote no, of course.
Sure. Well, of course, town meeting day in Vermont is a 200-plus-year-old tradition.
I believe Jonas said 260 something last
He
night.
wouldn't
in the
know
town
that.
meeting. He would.
He would know
he
that.
Would. He would. He would.
Yes. This is a big deal. You know, the history of this area is a big deal. And Jonah and a lot of other people I know, Bob Horn, these guys are just
Yes.
amazing. You know, Charles Dewey.
Yep.
You know, the list goes on. There's some great historians in town, and I never ever challenge them on anything they say in that realm. So we'll go with 260. Town meeting day, the first Tuesday of March, this year, March 1st. So it snuck up on a few people, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's March out and it's snowing.
It is
It's nice.
March. Well, that's the way it starts
Yep.
usually. Of course, you have your select boards, and we have a select board of 7 people in Bennington.
Which you have been on.
I have been on. I served a term. Most select boards in the state either 5 or 3 people. Bennington has 7 people on their select board, so you actually have a greater representation
Which is
of
nice.
the population. Yeah, and those are the people that make the decisions on how the town money is spent, what local ordinances are passed, how permitting is done. They're the cemetery board, they're the animal control board, they are the water board, the board of health, alcohol board. They serve many purposes. And
Second, Greg.
important stuff.
Keep going.
As you can hear, they are breaking down the voting machines now, and we're hoping to have results, what did we say, about 8 o'clock, I think, results?
That's what Cassie was saying.
Okay.
Just about 8 o'clock.
So
They
Cassandra
hope, or just
Barbeau, our
before.
town clerk, is shooting for about 8 o'clock for results. And so, yeah, we had 5 choices for select board this year to fill 3 positions.
Where's my... there we go, yep.
2 full positions, and then Tom Haley's seat was a 1-year seat to fill in for Bill Scully, who unfortunately passed during his term. Bill, obviously a beloved member of the community from North Bennington, moved here from California, ran several businesses, and then we unfortunately lost him. So
A really big loss for
it
the
was a
community.
big loss, and it was great. You know, Tom Haley filled his seat, so now he's back up for election in that normal cycle.
Yes, so we have 3 incumbents, you'll say, and then
Correct.
2. We have Tina Cook, who ran last year.
Correct.
And then we have Peter
Peter
Niles.
also. So those are 3 of those will get in.
Yep.
A town moderator, Jason Morrison, he has a pretty good shot this year.
Yes.
Does an excellent job.
Grab my... I don't have the town
Joan
ballot. Let me grab the
Pisno,
town ballot. Keep
our
going, Greg.
treasurer. Articles, of course, the budget. The town budget gets voted on up or down. There's a long history of approving the budget in Bennington, and it pays for pretty much all of the services that the town does outside of water and sewer. Your police department, your roads and bridges and things like that are all done through that. It is not part of the school budget. The schools in Vermont are a separate municipality, and there is a separate ballot for that. So if you're new to Vermont, that's how that works. So the towns do not control the schools. The town government does not control the schools in Vermont. Each school district is a chartered municipality, just like a town. So they have their own board of directors, their own budgets, and collect taxes. The town collects the taxes on behalf of the schools. So when you pay your village taxes, your town taxes, your school taxes are in that same check, and then the town distributes that to the school for spending.
He's so knowledgeable because he's been on the board before, and he's been chair.
I was chair of the board, yes, correct.
When were you chair of the select board?
That would have been 2015, I believe, my students. Yeah, 12, 13, yeah, I would have 14 to 15.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
It does feel like a lifetime ago. Felt a lifetime.
And obviously
anyway.
after the budget, because
Yep.
that's a little bit higher this year, inflation, a few other things as well.
Yeah, it's a few percent up, which, you know, is no small task. I know in my business we have a lot of things that are up 20% across the board.
Yep.
It was a difficult year to keep costs level. Materials, labor, shipping, fuel, obviously a big thing.
Yep.
You know, all those things have been difficult to hold level. So not an easy task to write a budget this year.
And then after the budget, we would talk through the articles, which were all gone through last night at town meeting. If you watched that, and if you didn't, you can watch on CAT TV replay or Facebook. There are, let me go through, 15 articles.
Yep.
And one of them is very interesting, which it's the last article. And it really wasn't mentioned too big, but it was tax exempt status for the property that the rescue squad sits on. So that's a very interesting one.
So,
in addition to the normal ones we see throughout the years.
Everybody has heard the term not-for-profit organization or not-for-profit or corporation. The Bennington Rescue Squad is a not-for-profit corporation, meaning that nobody can take the money away. If there's money in the bank at the end of the year, they can't just say, well, I'm going to take a distribution, which I could do in my business, in a private business, or even publicly traded business. There's profits that can be taken. In a not-for-profit business, there's several things you need to do. One, you need to provide a service to the community that otherwise could not be done in a profit-based situation, and that has to be approved by the state, and in some cases, the federal government. And that exempts you from certain taxes such as sales tax and whatnot. In some organizations, it allows you to have volunteer labor, which I can't have volunteer labor. I'm a commercial business. I have to pay people.
Right.
But in some not-for-profits, you can have volunteer labor. So when you go to a theater, you see volunteers seating people. They're an organization that can have volunteer labor. That's a tax-based legislation.
Yep.
So. And then separate from that is the property that the organization is on. So a property is subject to property taxes, which we all pay, and a not-for-profit organization can apply for tax-exempt status for their property if they meet certain criteria.
Right.
And that has to be approved incrementally by the town. The Chamber of Commerce, for instance, you know, somebody like that, they can't just get it once and go there. If you have to make sure that your property, your organization is keeping up that, and the town still wants to exempt that. So that's what that article is.
Yeah, and that article also says if it passes, they'll have to come back, it looks like in 2027, because that's when this would end and they'd have to renew.
So it is a termed agreement, correct? It is a termed article.
Indefinitely and things
forever,
like that.
Right.
So.
And the rescue squad has come under some scrutiny just because they deal in so much money. I think a lot of people lose track of how much money they spend.
Insurance companies.
Yeah, they're a healthcare organization, and they have huge expenses. They have huge liabilities. They have many vehicles. They have paid staff, and they have big insurance policies and things like that. So that's what they look out for: is what is their reserve for? What do they need? What to support the community? And the community demand has grown steadily on the rescue squad.
Sure.
I've done some work with them and whatnot, and you can see it. They'll go in there sometimes, and they'll have 7 vehicles out at one time on a Tuesday afternoon. So they do a lot of transport. There's a lot of responses with a lot of emergency services. They go out. We have an aging population.
Oh, sure.
So there's a lot of demand.
Is probably one of the best in the state, and we're lucky to have them. And
they're often
my good
recognized.
friend Forrest, who used to be the executive director, so maybe he's watching.
They are very often recognized for their quality of service. So
let's skip over to the schools. Let's not bore everyone with the town because we have a few guests waiting. So quickly, we have the SV, or I'll just say it, the Southern Vermont Regional Technical School District Board. It's a mouthful. So you had 3 people running there with also an open seat. Art on that board decided not to seek re-election, so there was an open seat for a write-in. So we'll be interested to see who gets that seat.
If there are write-ins,
If there are write-ins, yes. And then we have moderator, treasurer, and clerk, and
all running
budget,
unopposed,
and all those kind of
budgets.
things.
And then there's another service increase. Yeah, those are just budgets on there.
Yeah, the technical school district's pretty small in terms of budgets, the smallest one you'd vote for.
Right.
but also serves the most amount of towns.
Correct.
Over 13 towns make up the taxpayers for that district. So.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes, it is. All right, where are we here? You have fancy, nice ballots.
Oh yeah. So then, the other thing on the town ballot is the nonprofit organizations, the charitable organizations.
Yes. Yep.
Which are on there annually. They have to re-up on a regular basis to make sure that the people of the town are still willing to subsidize those operations.
Now maybe people at home can hear us. The fans
yes,
stopped.
We can start over. Here at the State of the Union. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
So yeah, and also obviously skipping to the schools, we have
Yep.
Mount Anthony and the elementary district,
right.
the Southwestern Vermont Unified Elementary School District.
Correct.
So there's no more Pownell or anything like that, which is
however, the representatives from those towns get voted on by all of the towns.
It was interesting if you watched town meeting last night and the SVU ESD board meeting. The tax rates fluctuate per town.
Right.
And they said Woodford had a huge one last year when they merged, and this is the first year. And now this year, Woodford's going to see a tax decrease.
Correct.
So which is pretty interesting. So it fluctuates around year to year.
And that was part of the argument with
yeah.
long-term versus short-term,
right.
sure.
Yep.
And so you've got those board of directors, and mostly unopposed except for on the MAU board.
Yes.
You had incumbent Ed Turno and Shayla Sikora challenging, which you may know from the elementary school board.
Yes, so she's seeking to be on the MAU board as well.
Correct.
But yeah, relatively unopposed, no one running in Pownell. Shaftesbury and Woodford both have one person. So,
right.
Yep.
And then you have the budgets, the salaries, same thing. There's one thing on here which may confuse some people. The authorization to borrow money against the taxes.
Everyone gets confused about this. This is a regular occurrence year to year.
Yeah, it's a regular occurrence in municipalities. What happens is the tax money comes in over a certain amount of time. The municipality needs money to operate, so you authorize them to borrow money against money that they know is coming in taxes.
Because the fiscal year of the schools starts July 1, but taxes are collected in November, so there's a little bit of a gap where they need to borrow and then they pay that off.
There's a stopgap.
Covering school board meetings since 2009, you hear it all the time.
Seen it a few times.
It's a regular occurrence, folks. Nothing to worry about.
But that is, people wonder why are we borrowing money?
Why are we borrowing money on top of the budget? No,
it's just a stopgap.
Exactly.
And which can actually save you money in the long run. So, so these are your ballots. Hopefully you voted. We're hoping you voted.
You did exercise your civic duty. Enough of me chit-chatting. We're in the firehouse. It's where you come vote every year. The firehouse is kind enough to move the trucks out, have this voting space. We have Bill
Clark is going to join us here.
He's downtown. He helps the chamber. He's cleaning downtown.
Just stand right.
We've got a microphone for Bill.
And we got a microphone for
Bill
him.
here. There's your microphone, Bill. You too.
Okay.
I'm going to step off.
Bill, how long have you been on the department?
So I'm fairly new.
Okay.
I've got 5 years. Just turned in 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
My first 2 years was getting a lot of training to understand all the ins and outs of fires.
How many hours of training do you do a year?
So a year, because I am a Class A firefighter, so I have 24 hours of training that I have to get in SCVA, which is an air pack. So all total for my training to keep my status is about 35 hours.
35 hours. It's a good commitment, and we appreciate it. Do you know how many members there are in the fire department right now?
So it used to be, and that's actually a good question. We used to have 100 plus members, and you used to be on a waiting list to be able to get in. That has changed.
Sure.
Times have changed, and now we're always looking for members. Fire serving, paid fire departments, it's hard to recruit new members.
It's tough with employment and families and things for people to find that time.
Yep.
So the training requirements have increased over the last few decades quite a bit, correct?
Due to technology and everything, definitely that's one of the things that's hurting. People's got families and jobs and stuff, so it's really hard to get your training hours in and maintain.
So is there a volunteer drive going on right now?
So we're always reaching out and trying to get people to join. It's a good way to give back to the community and to support your community. The other thing is a lot of the guys, especially with Bennington Fire Department here, a lot of the guys have got 40, 50 years in. So we're looking for new blood, new young people to come out, join, be part of something great, be part of the community. It's not just fighting fires, We're getting up early in the morning, changing batteries for people.
Right.
People are very open to see us when we're there, and they're like, well, we didn't mean to call you out. And we're like, no, we'd rather have you call us out.
Right.
Have it be nothing. But it's really nice, the camaraderie, just to be part of a community aspect of it.
That's great. Well, it's a great department, and we appreciate the responses and that, the involvement. How if someone were interested in volunteering, how would they do that?
So it's very easy. They can come right down here to the fire department. See anybody here, we have an application that you can fill out. And it goes through the process. We get you in. So on the front it says Bennington Fire Department, but there's four companies underneath this one roof.
Right.
We have Eagle Hose, which that's
Sure.
who I'm part of. I'm the captain of Eagle Hose. And then we have Putts, and then we have Sarge.
Putts.
Yep.
Putnam Hose Company.
Putnam Hose Company.
Yep.
And the Hook and Ladder. And with the Hook and Ladder, what a lot of people may not know, we got the okay, we got the process before the whole pandemic started
Right.
For a new ladder truck. We were supposed to take in ownership of that before the pandemic started, but things happened,
Sure.
and it set it back. We get people asking all the time about the new ladder truck. We're being told sometime this month in
Cool.
March.
That'd be
that
exciting.
should be. So there's been a delay with that. Part of that was pandemic got held up. People were out of jobs, things slowed down.
Sure.
And then there were some issues with recalls on it, so they had to take care of everything else on there. But the main thing is, ladder
That's
truck
great.
is coming.
That's great.
We're hoping this month is what we're being told.
And
it's right on track.
and what a lot of people don't realize, as we're talking about budgets and taxes,
Yes.
your home property insurance, your homeowner's insurance, is directly affected by the quality of your fire department.
Yes.
That ladder truck needs to be there to meet certain certifications for a town. So that affects your business and home property insurance. And
And also on that, we're very appreciative of the taxpayers approving the new ladder truck and all
Sure.
that for us. It's going to benefit, especially with a lot of new developments here in town. So we take very pride in recognizing what we need and what the ladder truck's going to be used for.
Sure,
So
that's great.
gonna be helpful.
And of course, the ladder truck isn't just for ladders. It's full of tools and all
It's full
kinds of
tools,
rescue equipment.
yes,
And
rescue tools, everything. So
Yeah.
it's not just a ladder truck. You're
Right.
So it's got a lot of the stuff that we would need to be able to assist and help out.
that's fantastic. Well, we appreciate your time and your effort in that, and all the firefighters, Bennington Rural, and rescue squads, and all that are there at the call. So, thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you,
Appreciate
Bill.
you joining us.
That
Thanks,
is
Bill.
critical information.
Appreciate
I
it.
will take that back
I
for
was
you.
gonna take
Thank
that.
you. I will take it.
Well, thanks, folks. There you go. If you want to volunteer for the Bennington Fire Department, contact the department, contact the town. It's an easy process to get in touch with somebody.
Yes, thank you, Bill. That's great information because our fire department is so crucial to our town. Thank you.
Here we go.
I know people are on Facebook are saying a lot of background
Every
noise.
time it
Sorry,
gets chilly, the
mics
heater kicks back on, and
these
that's the
are
noise.
because there's too much carbon dioxide.
Oh, is that what it is?
This
Oh,
filters that
oh.
out. So sorry,
Gotcha.
folks at home, that it's loud. That's why we brought these mics tonight. So
Right.
Cassie was telling me 5 minutes.
5 minutes, fantastic.
So that's pretty exciting. So about 10 of 8.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about ballots? People were saying you're a wealth of knowledge online.
Oh,
or we've got
I make a lot of
gentleman who's been outside all day.
Right.
I don't know if he was here at 7 when the polls open. We can ask him.
But go ahead, bring them on.
Bring him on in, Mr. Tom Haley.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Bennington Select Board Member Tom Haley, who we spoke about earlier. And you were outside all day, were
I
you?
was outside all day.
Yeah, it was a pretty mild day out there,
It was
thankfully.
lovely weather
yeah.
outside. I think I got a bit of a sun.
Put that up to your mouth just a little bit so they
Okay.
can hear you. Thank you. The day I ran, it was 5 was the high, I think. We were at, and that was lovely.
Yeah.
But people in Bennington do like to see you outside. It's funny. They want to know that you're there for them, that you want to be able to ask you questions. They want to know that you want the seat. It's an interesting tradition.
Yeah, it is, and it's really I enjoy it. You
Yeah.
know, it's nice to actually on my end.
Yeah,
Talk to people.
and especially after this last 2 years, to actually see people out
Yeah.
in person
Yeah,
must
we've
have
been
been
also
a
isolated for so
thrill.
long. It's been really
I
nice.
I got out before the Zoom generation, and I can't imagine trying to do all that stuff on a virtual meeting that you guys have had to do in the past.
There are some challenges there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
but-
great. So what was your view? Do you think voting was light, heavy today, or?
It seemed light.
Seemed light,
It was
okay.
slow but steady.
All right.
But I would guess light.
All right. Well, thank you, Tom. We're gonna move on now with Cassandra Barbeau. Our town clerk has waved that she has the results.
All right.
So we're gonna find out how heavy or light it was, and we're gonna switch you over to our town clerk.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Heck of a job. Ready? Okay. So actually it was a very light turnout. Even the absentees, I don't know for sure with the mail and a few that were brought in by hand today, but I would say it was about 325 early voters. And our total was, probably only about 1,500, maybe 1,600. So our checklist is 10,077 people, so that's about a 15% turnout. That might be a low, the lowest I've ever seen. So, but here we go. So I'm only giving you town meeting results today because the elementary, the Mount Anthony, and the Tech Center, of course, have several other towns that still need to report. So here we go, town meeting. For select board, we elect 3. Jean Connor, 809. Tina Cook, 612. Tom Haley, 738. Jeannie Jenkins, 819. Peter Niles, 704. So that is our 3 incumbents have been reelected. For a town moderator, Jason Morrissey, 1246. For a town treasurer, Joan Pasino, 1273. Article 1, which is the town budget, yes, 1036, no, 456. Article 2, which is the select board annual pay, yes, 1,100, no, 371. Article 3, Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse, yes, 1,107, no, 371. Article 4, Project Against Violent Encounters, yes, 1022, no, 447. Article 5, Green Mountain Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, yes, 1102, no, 362. Article 6, Brock Community Action in Southwestern Vermont, yes, 911, no, 547. Article 7, Vermont Center for Independent Living, yes, 1018, no, 449. Article 8, Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging, yes, 1033, no, 424. Article 9, the Tutorial Center, yes, 892, no, 566. Article 10, Bennington Project Independence, yes, 998, no, 461. Article 11, Bennington Free Clinic, yes, 1062, no, 424. Article 12, Sunrise Family Resource Center, yes, 880, no, 590. Article 13, VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region, yes, 1070, no, 385. Article 14, Bennington County Coalition for the Homeless, yes, 925, no, 532. Article 15, tax exempt status for the rescue squad, yes, 1076, no, 398. And again, all of the other school district races will have other towns reporting. Thank you. Good night.
So I just want to say, Cassie wrapped up. I just want to say thank you for everyone tuning in to the results here on CAT TV. It sounded like all the articles passed, the 3 incumbents were reelected to the select board, and the budget passed, is what I've gathered from all that. So thank you again for tuning in. Updated results for MAU, SVU, ESD, and the Southern Vermont Regional Technical School District results are still pending with all the other towns reporting. So you can catch that on the website or we'll provide further information on our channels 1085 and 1095 with those results on slides later tonight and tomorrow throughout the week. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great night. Happy March.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.